Are you doing the intro or am I doing the intro?
You're the host, baby. You're the host.
Welcome to the seventh episode of the PlayStation Experience podcast, PSVG's official PlayStation podcast. I'm Justin Pickard, and I am with, of course, two times Tyler.
I noticed Seth started the trend. Everybody refers to me as two times Tyler, which is really flattering. But is it just because no one remembers my last name, or
You know what? I saw your face, and two times Tyler just like jumped out at me.
yeah, I
And
got
I
like a
did
two X
just,
on my forehead or something?
yeah,
I mean, the
maybe.
branding's working, so I guess I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine if I was
I
trying to
mean,
think of some,
it's my Twitter handle. It's what I wanted people to know me as, so I won't complain. Two times Tyler is fine.
yeah,
For
good.
those who want to know me on a more personal level, it's Tyler Vidito.
There you go. All right.
Tyler. Hi, Tyler.
Look,
If
look,
you're my
look,
mother.
look him up, stalk him, whatever. So,
Yeah, all
uh,
the usual, the essentials.
as you can tell, Seth is not here. So, he called in sick. He called me
Oh,
last night. He said, "I'm Justin. I'm too sick. I can't do it." And I said, "Why, Seth?" And he said, "My tummy achy."
now, Justin, I do think that maybe you're just being a little too harsh on him, just a little. But
Yeah. No, Seth is out. He is sick, and I think his whole family is coming down with the flu. So hopefully they all feel better soon.
yep. I guess that means it's just us, huh?
Yep, and we are going to just it's gonna be a straight plane crash straight to the ground. We're gonna there might be an eighth episode, there might not be after this one. We'll see.
Yeah, don't worry. I think Kevin Butler he'll save the day. I
That's
believe in
true.
him.
Yes. Very true.
I believe in
So
the burning will of Kevin Butler.
all right, well let's get one into what we've been playing. Yeah, fill me in. I've been gone for 2 weeks. But we won't have you fill in all that time. And I haven't been playing much, but what have you been playing in the last week?
The last week, it's been pretty much. Well, technically, I guess I could add one other thing. I had played a game called Danganronpa, I believe it's pronounced.
I believe there's three pronunciations of that game,
Good.
and they're all correct. So yep, you're good.
Oh, you want to try Danganronpa,
Yep,
which
there's
would
another
be
one. Yep.
that's like the Japanese where they say at the beginning. I played the Steam version, but I do believe it was out for the PlayStation Vita.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Vita. And I played the first one on that one when I was over in Ohio. I didn't mention that in the last one because I was still confused by it. Uh, have you ever
And
messed with that game?
no. I've heard. I'm a big fan of Colin Moriarty, and I've always heard him talk about how great the Danganronpa series is. Doesn't sound like a game for me at all.
Well, now I'm kind of embarrassed because no offense, Greg Miller all the way. But anyways, Danganronpa, when I first heard of it and my friend tried introducing me to it, I thought it was one of those lewd Japanese role-playing games. And I'm like, oh boy, I got enough of these. I don't need another one. He's like, no. It's like a darker Persona meets Phoenix Wright game. I'm like, well, I never played a Persona game in my life. Actually, I played like an hour and a half of like Persona 4 Golden, but I don't think that counts. But he was right. As it turns out, 15 students try to enter a school, and each one of them has a special ability that they are the absolute best in, such as the best swimmer, the best fan fiction writer, and they would throw them all into the school, and then they apparently locked down the entire school and said, "Hey, there's only one way you can get out of the school alive, and that is to commit a murder and get away with it." And I thought that was interesting. The moving around and whatnot, it was like, ugh. And there is an anime for it if you just want to watch the abridged version. And I think that'd probably be a lot better in the long run. But it was fun because a lot of the characters, I would be cheering for and whatnot, and then they would just get croaked off immediately. And go, oh, there goes that character. I was about to name one, but I don't want to spoil a
No
game that
spoilers. Yeah.
I'm going to say from 10 years
Well,
ago.
now is this like do you create your own path like I mean you said like this could be spoilers, but do you think they die? Do they die in the same order for everyone or
Yes, it's completely predicted.
oh it is okay okay
Because I like after one of the characters croaked, I had looked her up just to understand maybe there's some background I missed in like an extra section, and then it turned out that was meant to happen, and then there was something going on in the background with that character. I'm like,
okay
cool.
gotcha okay
And I'm still thrown off because there's a Danganronpa 1, Danganronpa 2, Danganronpa 2.5, Danganronpa 3, and I looked it up. I was like, okay, I don't want to play every single one of these games, but I do want to enjoy the experience. There's anime of it. So, okay, I'm going to watch the anime for Danganronpa 2 because there's one for 1. There isn't one for 2. There's one for 3.
of
So
course
it's like, okay, so if I wanted to, I could do anime and then let's play or play the game and then anime if I wanted the shortest run. And that was like, what the heck? Why would they do that? And then the anime goes into for 3. There is alternative realities, I guess you could say, because there is the hope arc, and then there's the despair arc. Pretty much a good ending and bad ending. And then there's a season 1 and season 2. So I looked up like the guide of like what order should you be doing this. And if you got an order for me, people, check message me message me either on Twitter or you can email us PSP or PSXP podcast at gmail.com. And they told me this website, which was suspicious to just look like fan fiction writing website. It was like Danganronpa. Anime, Danganronpa 2 video game, Danganronpa 2.5, Danganronpa 3, I think it was like Future Arc Season 1, Danganronpa 3 Despair Arc Season 1, and Season 2 Future Arc. I'm like, what the heck is this? What am I? Well, like, I only knew of one game. And then when I took a minor interest, I was like, let's go a little bit further, let's see what else it has to offer. And then I just jump into this mesh of I don't know what to do with this. It's just bewildering because it has more complications than the Metal Gear Solid series. Because Metal Gear Solid can get very convoluted very fast if you try to dive a little too deep into it. But that's the mental works of Kojima, and I don't know about this one. I do like the detective work, and I do like the court case.
This reminds me a little bit more of like of Kingdom Hearts. How like if you talk to any Kingdom Hearts like super fan, there's like a certain like way to play all the games,
right?
In order. And there's like 2.5 and 2.8, and oh you gotta play this on the DS, or you gotta play this on the Vita or whatever. It reminds me a little bit like that too. But well, I'm glad you're liking it though. So
and I did finally beat Uncharted Lost Legacy. I'm very happy about that because lately I've been like innocent of spoilers and all that stuff. But then when I'm talking with either Kevin or Seth, they'd be snickering behind my back because I was like, oh, I can't wait until Sam has to meet, Hector Alcaraz, the butcher of Panama. And everybody's like, I'm like, okay, whatever. Uncharted Lost Legacy. Have you played it?
Yeah. Yep. I played it a few months ago, beat it. Really liked it. Now, is this? Have you beaten the other? I know you were playing Uncharted 1. Is this the first Uncharted that you actually beaten?
I have beaten. This is my 5th Uncharted game.
Oh, you did end up playing them all in order.
I know we didn't talk since this happened, but I remember the last time we had this conversation. I think you and Seth were making fun of me for not playing an Uncharted game.
I insulted you. Yes.
Well, we call it light wordplay of the aggressive kind. But like the day after that, I took it upon myself to pull out my Nathan Drake collection that I had for the PlayStation 4 and then just started pounding them like crazy. Like I was like, oh, heck no. If they're going to give this to me and do this to me, I'm going to stop playing RuneScape for a hot minute. And I just started going right through it. 1, 2, 3. And then I got to 4, I enjoyed 4. I beat that. I had a bunch of PlayStation money that I got over Christmas and whatnot. And so I bought my original was to get Burnout Paradise, which I did, and then I bought the Lost Legacy, and oh man, the Lost Legacy. Yeah, that's my fifth belt or fifth title under the
Yeah.
belt now.
Yeah. Awesome. And you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the heck out of it. I guess like the more I look at, the more I like have like random complaints.
Yeah.
Like at the very end, I was like, this seems kind of like it was a little rushed. Like the crisis kind of shifted a different direction because usually like the artifact will have like a mysterious power or different intentions. Like the big thing was the tusk originally, right?
Yes.
And if you remember, like in the first one, the El Dorado, the Golden Man, it was
Yeah.
essentially a coffin that did nasty things to you. Because
Yeah.
everybody thought it was just a golden city, but in the end, we're like, oh, it's really this that does this. Second one was, they want to find this lost city. Why? Because they think there's a giant gem that you can reach your whole arm around.
Yep. Yep.
But then it turned out it gave you special powers. Shocker.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm trying to remember what 3 was. 3 was, I believe, a powerful disease or something like that.
I cannot remember 3 either.
Oh, I think what it was Jinns, or was originally like a lost city. And why did they want to go to the lost city? It was because it was completely cursed by genies that they had sealed off into a large oil lamp or whatever the heck you want to call it. And I remember them pulling it out of the water, but we managed to shoot it down and put it back down for good.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the Tusk and this one. Well, actually, I skipped 4 details.
Well, 4 didn't have a mysterious element to it, though.
That is true.
I think that's probably why. I think maybe they, because that was always like a almost like an Indiana Jones thing about Uncharted, was like, oh, there's some like weird, mysterious, like supernatural at the very end of the story.
Right.
And they got away from that in 4, and I guess they must like that direction because they didn't do it for Lost Legacy.
Yeah, their mysterious thing was finding Libertalia and exploding mummies, or whatever you want to call them, exploding corpses, booby traps. It turned him more into the Goonies. You think about it, because the last thing after going through all sorts of like puzzles and booby traps was this giant ship full of treasure, and then a cool sword fight. I think that sword fight was probably the coolest thing I've seen in Uncharted. Now there was a lot of other good moments, but it's like it was the first time I enjoyed fighting a boss and beating it.
No, that was, well, I feel like all the other previous bosses were just like run around and shoot at this guy for 20 minutes.
Right.
Eventually he'll die. But then
like
this one was like,
the one in the second one where you're just trying to shoot him and explode the crap next to him. It's just, oh man. And then the third one, the final boss dies on her own, and then you just got to fight her, evil henchman guy, who I seriously thought was going to be like, turns out he was a genie leading her to this place. Because like, where did he get these special darts that apparently seems like it came with the water that came from the place that, caused all this hallucinations? But I guess that was never really a connection. It was just an extra connection I made, and I thought it was going to be the big deal at the very end. But I guess we never actually talked about Lost Legacy. The Lost Legacy. I mean, is it safe to say that everybody knows it's technically between Chloe and Nadine?
Yeah, I think that's very safe. I mean, yeah, it's definitely that. Everyone knows that Nadine is in the game.
Right. And I was kind of freaked out with Nadine because I'm used to having her, just full wafro, I guess, woman afro. The whole frizzy hair that she had going on in Uncharted 4, but nowadays it's like, oh, she has to put in some kind of ponytail. And I was like, oh, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Sure. But, man, like I had my fiance watch me the entire time. Well, okay. I had Amanda from PSVG watch me the entire time because I want to empower her, especially with this game, because this game just screamed, as she put it, a lot of girl power, I guess she called it. Because it really does support like the bond with these two people, because I think that's probably one of the strongest points of Uncharted Lost Legacy because it started off with two people who definitely didn't like each other all that much, but they had a job to do and they both needed, money for the different reasons. Chloe more did it more for the city, I guess you could say, but she also liked money. I mean, Nadine needed to get some power back in her place so she could reclaim Shoreline.
Yep.
And then a third character comes in, but by the time he comes in, these two have like fought, smacked each other up, rebonded, and then started like re-strengthening their friendship. In the course of like running around for like 2.5, 3 hours at this point, they just suddenly become like best friends. We got each other's backs. What happens in the trench stays in the trench, kind of stuff. And then when the guy comes in, he is like, "Hey, I can help," and he joins. But they completely just blow him off. And he's like, "Hey, I can help you." No, you just stay out of the way. Us girls totally have this handled. And it sticks like that to the very end, up until the final fight. The guy's not even, he's back out of the picture. And I thought that was pretty cool. It was about time that we got, a good couple empowering female characters. We have been getting more and more lately, but it's still nice to see a company like Naughty Dog willing to take that step where maybe we don't need the stereotypical charming hero guy that looks like Indiana Jones, more attractive cousin.
Yep.
We don't need that.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool to see, and yeah, it's just cool to see like we have them put them as the main character, and then they can hold their own and do all the same stuff that Nathan Drake did. So
like originally, I didn't care for Chloe at all. It's like, okay, sure. And, she's a little sarcastic. She's very witty. She's good at, repeating stuff to like humor you. It's like, I always felt like she was humoring you. Yep. And when it came to Nadine, who was 100% serious all the time, like Nadine would say something serious and she's like, "Yep, you're totally right. I'm going to repeat exactly what you said. Is that a box? That is a box." And it's like, okay, sure. I guess wrapping that up, Uncharted series, it's okay. I enjoyed it. It's okay. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Okay. You know what? Uncharted to me is it's a big summer blockbuster movie. It's like I'll admit I don't think it's like 4 and Lost Legacy were a little bit different. I liked those as far as story. First 3 for sure were just like, this is just fun. That's all. It's fun.
I'm glad you're willing to work with me because the 4th one by far was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
First one still took a lot of pushing. Second and third, agreed, more enjoyable for the story, but again, it felt like I was doing more having to shoot just so I can get to the next story plot versus enjoying the traversing. But, anytime that I didn't have to pull out a gun or anything where I could either sneak or I was otherwise pretending I was an acrobat, I was having a good time. 4 felt more of a climbing and jumping simulator than anything, but, that's fine. If people can enjoy Assassin's Creed, they sure and heck are going to enjoy Uncharted. I guess the last game, I know I'm running up the clock here, being a chatty catty here, but man, I got one last game, Justin.
Must be a big one. Is it a good one?
Kevin gave me a game to review, which I'm going to do right here. I will give a proper review on the website on playsomvideogames.com, but I'm just hesitant because this is the first time if we were to give a number on a game that I would, without a... Let's back up a little bit. This game is called North. North is... I don't know what else is on besides Steam and on PlayStation, but I got the code for PlayStation. North is a horror game by Outlands and published by Sometimes You. Good names, I guess. It's $3 in the PlayStation Network if you want to check it out. Do not do that. In fact, if you do, only do it for the sole reason they're trying to spite me and prove me wrong. And if so, they're still winning. Don't do this to yourself. North, as I was about to say, because I want to introduce the game before I start shutting it down. I want to at least have the name on the table. North is a horror game, and I'm going to read the description through Steam. dealing with the issues of the contemporary refugee crisis while at the same time being deeply rooted in a classical cyberpunk atmosphere a la Blade Runner. North features a dark synth pop soundtrack, a sprawling megacity, and weird monster-like inhabitants. Reviews mixed. Shocker. I'm not gonna lie. Kevin even had a joke and he's like, "Hey, I just saw somebody on Twitter say how great North is." I was like, "Hashtagged paid off." And it's $2 on Steam if you want to do Steam. It's probably your better bet. Save you $1. You can buy yourself a dollar beer to drink after playing this. I was able to get. I put a half-hour progress. I'm not gonna lie. I put a half-hour progress. It says right off the get-go, "Hey, there is no pause to this game. This game is about an hour long." I was like, okay. So I can't pause if I want to. If I quit, I got to start completely over. Fine, sure. If it's only an hour, just it says to play it in one run. So I give North a try because A, it was given to us, it was free, and B, I wanted to play a horror game. I was over in Ohio. I was like, "Hey, Brandon, can I download this game? I'll play." And he's like, "Yeah, sure. I love horror games." I was like, "Really? You don't play them?" He says, "No, I just like watching other people get suckered into it." I was like, "Okay, sure." And so I started playing North. I got a half hour in. I made approximately 45 seconds of progress. So what basically happened was I got put in. I realized this was Outland's more than likely very first game, and they were just testing out their system because I guess the strongest thing I want to say about this game is the intro and the music. They do great, making a desert and whatnot and doing screen panning and whatnot, and the music was okay, and introducing the game that is North. And so after 45 seconds of that fine stuff, and that's where I made the progress, it plots me into a very desolate and I guess poorly developed area where I'm kind of walking around what looks like an upgraded version of Minecraft. And so I'm walking around like, man, this game's gonna be good. Man, I wonder why this is only $3. And then I go into this house, the only house you can go before you can continue into the level, which is work. The first house is my house, apparently. This is where I live. And so I go in there, all of a sudden, there's a spooky monster sleeping in the bed. I'm like, "Oh!" And I get close to him, like, hello. It's just animated, just, tussling in the bed. And it looks like a monster, in fact. So I was like, okay, is this going to be the spooky boo that's going to chase me as soon as I leave the house? And then I go around the corner. There's another one just standing there, just like moaning and like moving his arms around and stuff. I'm like, I'm getting close to him and expecting the death animation. No, he's just chilling. He's just, dancing, feeling the moves, going with the flow. And then there's a third one that's just standing out of a giant hole in the side of this building, just kind of staring off into the distance. I'm like, what are you? And I'm like my anticipation of fear is just gone because I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, these guys look scary, but they're not doing anything. One's sleeping, having a nightmare about Tim Hortons shutting down. This other guy's just feeling the groove like it's 1970s. And this third one's having an existentialism crisis. And so, okay, I pick up a couple of pictures. I'm not sure if this is the guy's like fan art or, portraits that never got appreciated in college. So he decided to put random pictures on the floor that I could pick up and look at. I was like, okay, they have no correlation to the story, but they look okay. Kind of dark, a little emo. I was like, but it's time to make progress because I have no idea. I could have went into this room or ignored it to no consequence, besides the fact that I just saw like random monster-looking things just chilling there. I go into the next room. It's been completely quiet, by the way. Maybe some light ambience music, just, of me walking around and stuff, and, little moaning and shuffling noises. As soon as I go into the door that leads me into the next one, it says work. And I'm like, okay, why am I going to work? There's no, anticipation to the story. I supposedly can write to my sister, but every time it was like, if you push the, the touchpad when you're, at a certain location, you'll write a letter to your sister. And, it popped up. I'm like, okay, push it. It disappears. I'm like, where's the letter? I go to the pause. Oh, there's no pause menu. I can't look up this letter thing. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then there's another freaking monster in a hot tub. like some kind of chemical plant hot tub. Now, there wasn't an actual hot tub. It looks like there was green goop or something come out of it. The next room is where things start to get really screwed up. It just throws me into this room, and all of a sudden, like going from dead quiet, it starts blaring from 0 to 10 techno music. And it, like, my friend has stopped paying attention at this point because he could give two craps about this game. But as a reviewer, I had to give my heart into this game. He jumps out of his chair like a son of a gun. Like, he freaks up because this music, you know, is like, and he freaks out. It's like, what the heck is going on? It's like, I don't know. It throws me into a Windows 95 puzzle screensaver. You remember that one where you gotta like when you the screensaver where you're just searching along walls in this underground maze thing? And
yeah.
that's essentially what it was, supersized. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking around. It's really foggy. What am I supposed to be looking for? Why is it less in this tempo? I can get into this. And I'm looking around, and there's a pump. I'm like, okay, sure. I will push the button to the pump. Starts pumping. Great. I don't know what that does because it doesn't explain anything in this game. I go to another one. I find a second one. I don't know how many of these pumps are, but I'm heading over to what I think is going to be where the third one is. And all of a sudden it shows loading in the bottom right corner. I'm like, oh, I'm making progress. Or maybe it's releasing the monster. Sure. And half a second later it says, you died.
Awesome.
Just cut the black. It says, you died. I'm like, oh, I died. How? At first I thought the monster was behind me. I didn't notice. But no, apparently I have 45 seconds to search this randomized maze to search for pumps, which it doesn't explain why, because of, I don't know, poison gas, something. Just. And then I spent a half hour doing this. I kid you not, trying to find all these pumps because there's kind of arrows pointing to where they could be, but I'm still thrown off by it. And by the time I try to find what I would like to hope is the last one, it kills me. And that's as far as I got. I was still bewildered by, I wanted to give the guy a chance because who cares if, it's poor quality. If they put me in a closed area with that monster, I was going to be freaked out. I didn't even get that far. The most I saw was those 4. Sleepy, kind of dancey, existentialism crisis, and hot tub monster. That's all I got to see. And, maybe they're not monsters. Maybe they're refugees that just, tried working for too long. I don't know. I know I spent way too much time talking about this game. I am done here, Justin. This is it. Justin, what have you been playing, man?
Well, I've only been playing one game, and that's Ni no Kuni 2.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man, so, Justin would love to be talking to you about this right now.
Seth would.
Did I say Justin?
You did.
I'm sorry. I guess you could talk to yourself.
Here's the deal. I do that a lot. Don't let everyone, and maybe some people see me do it, some people don't. I'm used to talking to myself, so I can do that. Seth has also been playing it. I've been playing. I'm about 6 hours in. So here's a little bit of background as far as me and JRPGs. All right, because I think I like them, but then I go to play a JRPG typically, and I don't like it. Yeah, it's been that way since basically the PlayStation PS1 era, because I'm a huge Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9 fan.
Really?
Yes, I love all those games very much. After that, Final Fantasy 10, it's okay, I guess. I don't play the online ones. Final Fantasy 13 was just bad.
Really?
And yeah, and I did like Final Fantasy 15, but
did you try 14? A Realm Reborn?
No, I'm not. Yeah, don't do that online. Well, actually, I have tried 14
because 14, when it first started, apparently it was just a trash fire of an online game.
Yeah, bad.
Eventually, they remade it, and they wanted to make it canon still by saying, the original events happened, but a giant meteor just decimated the whole area, and so the realm was reborn.
The realm reborn, yeah. And then that game went on to, like, everyone loves that game now. It's one of the better, online games. So,
but you're saying, though, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, it's just and then I've tried playing Tales of Hysteria, and I've tried playing other Tales games, which are a lot of people who like JRPGs love those games, and
Yeah, if you want to spend 100 hours.
yeah, I just never was into it. And then I didn't have a PS3, so I never played Nino. Well, I didn't play Nino Kuni when it came out. Though I heard that was the JRPG to play. That was a big one. Um, but when I got my PS4, I did play Nino Kuni, the first Nino Kuni for I don't know, maybe 4 hours, not even 3 hours, something like that. Through PlayStation. I want to say View, but that's not right. What's their streaming service?
PS Now?
PS Now. That's right. I played it through that, and I liked it. I wasn't like in love. I didn't really like the combat. I liked the story. I really liked the cutscenes. Um, and then Nino Kuni 2 comes out, and I buy it, and I'm really, really loving it.
So is the cat person a guy or girl? First off, I'd been needing to find out.
He is a guy. He is a boy.
Okay, because I see him like cat guy, cat girl. It's like
yeah, no. That's one thing about Nino Kuni, the first one and the second one. You kind of have to like. This is a completely fantastical world. There's cats. There's mice, men. The boy, the king, who is your main character in Nino Kuni 2, he's a little bit different because he's a half breed. He's half human, half cat, or Grimalkin is what they call themselves.
Okay, I'm gonna say I got a lot of questions I won't ask.
Yeah, yeah, you're better. No. That is one subject we shouldn't dive into.
Okay.
As far as his half breed, and but no, I really like it. The game, the combat is good. It's really simple. It's a little bit of it's a mix between like a action RPG and a like a regular action game, like a Bayonetta or something like that, where you're doing a little bit of button mashing with you got your light attack and your strong attack, and you can throw magic attacks here and there. But I like the combat. The story is so. It's entertaining enough, but it's fairly boring. But there's a bunch of different mechanics in this game as far as you can go to war, you're building your kingdom.
Oh wow.
I'm really liking all of those.
That was unexpected the way you can go to war.
Yeah. No, they've got basically a whole. It's like they built a game within a game, which is pretty common for JRPGs, I guess, with like mini games and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but this
triple
one's
triad.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what this was, but it's really good. It's actually really fun. The whole war mechanic. So it's got a little bit of Fire Emblem in it too, as far as like you've got green, red, and blue soldiers, and green's better, blue is better than green's better than red's better than blue, whatever. So no, all the mechanics, I like the combat. I'm having fun. The only real letdown of this game is the story a little bit, and this is a level 5, I think a level 5 game. The first Ni no Kuni was made with Studio Ghibli.
Really?
Yeah, so they Studio Ghibli, is it Ghibli or Ghibli?
I think a lot of people say Ghibli.
Ghibli, yeah. So they made all the cutscenes and they helped with the art on the first game.
Wow, that does make a lot of sense,
Yeah. I guess not all of the cutscenes, but they did. They would do every once in a while. You would just get to a certain point in the story, and like you'd get an extended cutscene that was fully animated, like hand drawn animated, which was awesome. Like I kind of miss the old days of like you get to a certain point in a game and you can just like sit back and like watch a short little movie.
Right. Just, give me 5 minutes. Just give me an entire thing of plot that's like well animated, high quality. I do know what you're talking about
and that's also, I think, something from the PS1 era, like Metal Gear and Final Fantasy both had like stuff like that.
I mean, Metal Gear had one like every 10 minutes. It'd be like 10 minutes playing and then a 5-minute cutscene. But yeah, where you worked hard, you've been pushing hard, you've been doing a lot of grinding. The game's going to reward you with just sit back, relax. We're going to give you a lot of story plot, and it's going to be well done, and you don't have to do a dang thing. Yeah. And then people start running it with button interactions like all of a sudden press triangle right here. Dun-dun. I think that was my worst problem with
Yeah.
Uncharted was
Yeah.
unexpected button prompts. I'm like, ah,
Yeah, I had run into that and failed a few times, but with the second Nino Kuni, Studio Ghibli is not involved. The art style is definitely still there. You can tell it's definitely like anime style, like they would do.
mm,
But there's no like cutscenes. There are like these weird in-engine cutscenes, but I kid you not, they're like 10 seconds long. And they'll give you like 2 lines of voice acted dialogue, and then they go back to more of like cut away from the cutscene, and then they go back to text boxes instead. So I don't know if they ran out of money or time or what, but it definitely seems like there should be um, more more voice acted cutscenes, or not even cutscenes, just interactions.
mm,
Every once in a while, you're running around the overworld or within a combat zone, and you know, games nowadays, there's some sort of banter or something between characters.
yeah,
Well, this game, there's just a little text box that pops up for like 15 seconds, and you have to quickly read it, but like you're actively doing something. You could be in, exploring a world or something like that. There's a reason voice acting is good
yeah,
nowadays. You know,
because
so that's my biggest gripe. I have a feeling that they like. I know this game got delayed a few times, and I'm wondering if they just didn't get all the voice acting in, or they had some changes to the story, or I don't know. But um, it's weird, and that whole like voice acting thing. So
well, hopefully, when we play more of it, you'll enjoy it. I know, a lot of times sequels always have different quirks and different moments to it.
yeah, no, this is definitely like a sequel, or in the fact that it's like there's some things that are better and some things that are worse.
Mm,
And I think this game is gonna do well because it is very like it every once in a while you get a game that you're really like addicted to. Like you keep thinking about it, you want to keep playing back to it. When you're playing
yeah,
it, you don't want to stop. Um, and this is definitely one of those games where it's really grabbing me. So I hope that this a game does well, and I really hope that they kind of combine one and two. Maybe get the story from one, and all of the gameplay elements from two, and you kind of
is
come up
it
with
a
something
direct
new.
sequel story wise?
It is not. It is. There's some similar ideas, and the world is the same. It's like 500 years in the future, I think.
Oh wow,
So
okay,
like,
we're Final Fantasy it. Oh,
yeah. So
that
there,
just completely different story. But
yeah, completely different story. Nothing, no connections. Like the only thing really is like there's some big cities from the first game, like Ding Dong Dell was a big city that you first visited, and yeah, this is a interesting game world. No, but one of the bigger cities from the first game, you're in the second game, you start out as the king of Ding Dong Dell.
nice, look at you,
But like,
all up in the world.
yeah, if you didn't play the first game, it wouldn't. You're not missing any. Like, there's nothing you're missing in this story. So
Hmm. You see, I started Kuni, but honestly, I didn't get that far. I don't know what happened. I couldn't get into it at the very at the time. Maybe I should give it a better shot now that I'm mature and well respected the genre. But honestly, oh, you're kind of pitching me to go straight into two. So now you got me tempted. Would you
I mean, if
recommend
you,
the game?
yeah, I would definitely jump into two and not worry about playing one. I would I would play one if they like released it for the PS4. I think. But with you having to go back to PS3 or play it through now, too much trouble.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right. All right.
Well, I think since that's what we've been playing, exhaustively. That's we had a
Yeah,
lot to talk about today.
I do realize I took like a 20-30 time block for myself just chatting away incessantly about, all those games. That was my bad. I mean, our topics are kind of light this week. We can burn through them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a few topics of the week. Um, First one is a news story that just came out yesterday, I think,
Okay.
maybe a couple days ago. Is Blue Point Games, who just they just made Shadow of the Colossus for PS4. They remastered Shadow of the Colossus for PS4, which was great. They did a really great job with that, and they're known for their remakes or
Oh yeah,
remasters.
collections.
Um,
Yeah.
and they have confirmed that their next game will be another remaster. Um,
I mean,
but
that's not a shocker. 95% of the games that they made have been all completely remasters. Like
yeah,
their finest work is taking a game and then, shining it up quite a bit and then throwing it on the next console.
yeah, that's definitely their thing now. Even back in the day, their a lot of their business was taking games from like consoles and moving them to like mobile platforms or something like that. So, um, and I think this is a group of developers that really enjoys the nitty gritty of the specs and stuff and trying to get this stuff to run better. So, um, but we don't know what game it is. Um, but of course, if we'll skip ahead a little bit to grab pull a little something out of the mailbag.
It's mail time.
We're gonna cut that up and you
And
insert that in all future
mail.
episodes.
Gosh dog, it's in the mail. Woof.
Got it. So a question from our fearless leader, though he doesn't like to be called our leader. Donnie asks, with Blue Point Games remaking another game, this time bigger than Shadow of the Colossus, quotes, what do you think their next project will be? Am I finally getting my long-awaited Infamous collection?
Mm.
Ooh, that's a good question. Because I think we've actually talked about the Infamous collection. When's that come out? I know Seth wants it as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, what's bigger than Shadow of the Colossus? Are we talking about the big fiery guy from Infamous 2? Is how can we correlate? Like I'm trying to work with Emperor Donnie's reasoning here. What is
Yeah.
bigger than Shadow of the Colossus that they
Well,
remake a series from?
bigger than Shadow Colossus is a weird like quote because Shadow Colossus, the game isn't that long or big. You're really only fighting, 16 bosses, which is a lot, I guess, um, but like the world's empty and stuff like that. But
Right.
like, but Shadow Colossus is also like one of the most famed games of all time. So, you're talking about the actual game world, which I assume that's what they're actually talking about, because I don't think there's really any other like
They're
bigger
remaking
game.
Breath of the Wild for the PlayStation 4. Confirmed.
yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
Reggie. You
yeah.
finally set it free.
I stand corrected. That would be bigger than Shadow of the Colossus as far as stature wise.
I mean, the chances of it be Infamous much higher than a lot of other games because it's potentially in the cards for Sony to have something like that to happen. Is it going to be that necessarily? Who knows? I mean, this is pure speculation. If they want to tell me that there was a game bigger than Shadow of the Colossus and they're doing a remake of it, it's not like a collection. The first thing I think of is Asura's Wrath for the PlayStation 3. Have you ever played that game?
I haven't.
It is essentially like, have you heard of the anime called Gurren Lagann?
No.
Okay. Think God of War, except it's an angry god that looks like a human form of Machamp with four arms,
Okay.
and he gets mad and he likes to punch stuff. Triangle the Burst, and he punches bosses that get bigger and bigger and bigger. So you fight off people his size, a little bit bigger than size. They go to the size of half the planet, and he's still punching them to victory. And
Awesome.
so when they tell me bigger than Shadow of the Colossus, I think of something
Big.
as big as the moon.
Yeah. Uh, maybe that could be a good play on words. And I know Azura's Wrath is kind of like a cult classic where
Oh
like
yeah.
there is definitely a big fan following of people that really like that game. It wasn't like huge,
Oh
but
no.
I've
But
definitely heard the name pop up a few times where it's like people who did play it really liked it. So, um, yeah, that would be interesting. That's a good guess. Any other guesses?
I mean, whenever I make a guess, it's usually based off of my personal taste. So, realistically, the money would be at something like Infamous. Now, Donnie also points out that he thought a HD remade Killzone collection for the PlayStation 4 would be a great idea too. I agree. It would be kind of difficult, I'd like to think, because well, I guess all the developers for the Killzone games are all technically first party, aren't they? So
Yes.
I guess if Sony just signed it off and all the companies are like, okay, Bluepoint could totally make that.
Yeah.
So
And Killzone, the first Killzone came out in PS2, and Shadow of the Colossus came out in PS2, and they didn't, they were able to remaster that.
sure.
Um, so yeah, it could be done for sure. Um, I I don't think anyone would want to play a Killzone collection. Um, like Killzone had its time. It was, supposed to be the Halo killer way back when and whatever, but like it's not a great shooter, honestly.
You don't think so? I never played it. I played Resistance. I fell into the wrong hole for Sony.
Yeah. I think it's an okay shooter. It's just a bunch of okay shooters that are like they're okay to play through. I think Infamous is more would be more
The Halo
popular.
killer.
Yeah. Well, I think Infamous would be more popular, and uh let's see who's the developer behind Infamous. I'm trying to
That is a very good game. You keep talking, I'll find out for you.
well, so I know that they're making a new game, The Ghost of Tsushima, that they just announced last year at PS. They announced it last year. I don't remember when. But
Sucker Punch. I should have
Sucker
known
Punch.
this.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, you're right. The Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. So like I'm thinking if they make a Infamous collection, that gives them a little bit of breathing room to keep developing on this Ghost of Tsushima game. Get a little bit of cash flow.
Oh, say free money, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Make Sony happy, Blue Point's happy, Sucker Punch is happy, and they get a little bit of this Ghost of Tsushima is their first new IP in a long time. Probably gonna take a little bit, and they're probably gonna have some setbacks here and there. And it's probably gonna get delayed at some point. Having a collection come out and give you a little bit of cash, probably not a bad idea. So that's where I think that's pretty. That's probably what it is, but who knows?
Well, we can dream. Hopefully it works out, and looking forward to the announcement. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Go for it.
I guess the next news article is PlayStation VR bundle is going to be a price cut or getting one, and it's going to be $100 cheaper now, US dollars. Originally, it was going to be $399, or it was $399, but it got cut down to $299 now. Now,
Yeah.
I guess this one does include the camera because I do believe they cut down $50 for one of the bundles, but it cut out the camera, so it was kind of cheaper, but not really. But this also the article that we got this from Kotaku. Thank you, Kotaku. Even though I say that with a light tinge of disgust, it was the PlayStation VR Doom bundle is going to be dropped down to $299 presumably, and the Skyrim bundle also down from $449 to $349. And it says similar price cuts will go into effect in the United Kingdom, Europe, and Japan. Which I'd like to point out that the UK is a part of Europe, but whatever, I respect that. Just because they had the Brexit doesn't mean it's separate. But I also understand it's a different region for video gameism. So whatever, just made up a word. Fight me. Sorry, this article. I don't like Kotaku, but I quoted them.
So yep.
Thank you, Kotaku.
That's good, right? $300, not bad. I could actually see myself buying PSVR now, whereas in the beginning it was like that's too much of a luxury for me.
I mean, what was it originally?
400.
I think 400 for the bear stuff. I thought like 450 or
might have
something
been
like
even more than that. Yeah,
for the big bundle.
Yeah, so I remember thinking like that's a console. That's console price.
I paid more for my VR headset than I did for the PlayStation 4. That's
exactly
kind of upsetting, but
so
I mean, price point for VR.
Yeah, that's not bad. So, but at the same time, it's like, well, when's PSVR 2 gonna come out? I don't know. So, so yeah, that's really it for like our news or topics of the week. We are running a little bit long, but I think we're gonna do one more little deep dive and
Yeah,
do a
we can burn through this one.
Tales of PlayStation Past.
Tales of PlayStation Pass. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes. As people know, I keep bringing on the topic of Kevin Butler, which some people might even not even know about. You know, even PlayStation fans, like if you think about it, Kevin Butler was a phenomenon that was created by Sony between 2009 and 2011, and then they just kind of phased him out. And in my head, it's like, what happened to Kevin Butler? Because he was the burning will of PlayStation through humor and sardonic behavior. Just he was always there to fuel a fire that didn't exist, and he was more than happy to make it happen. Now, I guess is it crazy to read it word for word what this article says, but because it doesn't really explain why he's gone, just kind of explains who he is.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, this article is. It's. I think I don't think anyone knows what truly happened with Kevin Butler. So this article is a little speculative. But
Right.
why don't you just give me what you think? Like, let's talk about who Kevin Butler was first, real quick.
Well, Kevin Butler, like he was a fictitious vice president. First off, he is the actor that played as him during the thing was known as Jerry Lambert, and during his time with PlayStation, like I said, from 2009 to 2011, he became a fake Sony vice president of like fictitious departments. Like I could start naming them off real quick. Departments like in 2009, he was the director of game accuracy with promoting MLB 2009, the show. And I guess later on, he became vice president of big action moments and then chief weaponologist. I thought those are very impressive and high quality titles.
Yeah,
I guess the other thing, you know, he was the vice president of the PS3 softball team, which, as far as I can tell, did not exist. Whatever. When Meg came out, he was the vice president of first person shooter relations. That was pretty classy. And then, you know, when he wanted to promote Gran Turismo 5, it was vice president of Add More Awesome. And
yeah,
I think I'm gonna look at his latest titles. Okay, so I got, let's see. Oh, he was there was no vice president title for this. He was the grab the ring guy for Uncharted 3.
oh
Okay,
yeah, okay.
sure.
So yeah, Kevin Butler was basically a marketing campaign.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
that's what he was realistically. He was
yeah,
a market push to try to add to the flames that was Sony versus Xbox well after the days of the console wars that happened in 2006. But,
yeah,
well, he was more than happy to give soft nudges, you know,
yeah,
the pave the way. And he did a lot of marketing ads that was strictly Sony, and people loved him because he was just, you know, a no care, give anything he wants attitude. People loved him because he talked to the actual Sony president and go, you know, just give me the microphone. I can take it from here. Don't you worry, hot shot. And you know, this, you know, Sony press or the executive will be like, okay, you know, walk it off. It's all an act, but people love wrestling for a reason.
yeah,
And this guy had a display and it was loved. But after 2011, he just got phased out. Apparently, people thought he was getting boring, even
yeah,
though I loved him. In fact,
yeah.
he apparently got sued later on because he got into a commercial of him holding a Wii controller.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think what happened, if I'm reading this correctly, basically I think PlayStation phased out that marketing campaign of because it was console wars, which is like funny for a while. I
Yeah,
think it would still be funny, but I know a lot of people in the press and gaming press were like sick of talking about console wars. So PlayStation probably, you know, kind of stopped that campaign. And then, yeah, the actor, Jeremy Lambert, showed up in a Bridgestone tire commercial where for promoting a contest where there was a Wii and he was holding a Wii remote. And Sony didn't like that because he was the face of Sony, kind of. And now
right.
he's
It's
holding
like
a Wii remote.
the guy. Can you hear me now? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
after his contract was over, he immediately switched over to a different phone company to advertise for, and
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember when that dude. Yeah, he came from Verizon. He was like the face of Verizon, or whatever. And then he switched over to Sprint, and they had that big whole commercial of like now Sprint's saying, "Can you hear me now?" or something like that. I don't,
hmm
pretty dumb, but
hmm
yeah, it's not. It's when you have an actor like that who's like when you see Jeremy Lambert, the first thing any gaming guy is gonna think of is Sony, and PlayStation. So to then see him in a commercial where he's holding a Wii remote is just like weird. And he must have had some sort of contract with Sony to not do stuff like that.
And I'd like to point out, apparently, there's a couple of controversies I didn't realize existed from him until this morning. Now, it wasn't him; it was the lines he read. I'm sure he didn't write his own wittiness. No offense,
Yep.
but when his first commercials for the PlayStation 3 of the price drop, he was like, "You can't believe everything you read on the internet. Otherwise, I'd be a Nigerian millionaire by now." And I was telling you this earlier. Apparently, Nigeria's Minister of Information and Communication actually exists, and they were not too happy with the fact that he made a joke about the Nigerian prince email scam and demanded an apology from Sony, saying it was an unwarranted attack on the reputation and image of the country. And so Sony said, "LOL, sorry," and then changed it from "You can't believe everything you read on the internet. That's how World War I got started." And it was like Sony was kind of like, "Okay, we're sorry that this was our bad, but an unwarranted attack, you're gonna declare war on us," and they pretty much kind of put the provocation out there for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's kind of funny, but like, yeah, that's a weird thing. Um, but I don't know. I thought the first line was a lot funnier for sure.
I do too. Like honestly, it's like Nigeria. If you don't like this, then you need to get your prince under control because he keeps trying to send out emails to everybody trying to get money. And it's like that's
Yeah.
not how you get your import export taken
I
care of.
know. Yeah, I agree. I responded to all those emails, and it's like he really doesn't care about me. He really just wants me to give him stuff, my information, my credit
I
card
know
number.
it's like it's
And
supposed to be a give you take me kind of situation, but you're right. It was a really one-sided relationship. I thought I had it down with him, but the moments I started asking questions like his hobbies and stuff, like things broke down real quick, mostly his
yeah,
English. But
yeah. Hmm. What a shame.
rest in peace, Nigerian princes. Rest in peace, Kevin Butler.
Yes, rest in peace. So, yep, that is but we forgot to mention what he's most famous for.
What's that?
Well, he's most famous for, being included in the PSXP intro theme.
Oh man, yes. His legacy will carry on for years to come, hopefully, maybe decades. I don't know how crazy
we'll,
this.
we'll see how weathered we become in a couple of, yeah.
I mean, if Mount Rushmore can handle freaking rough weather like it can, I think the rock face that will be Kevin Butler's voice, so to speak, will last forever on our intro. And
For
I think,
eternity.
yes, he will stay within our hearts. The burning will of Kevin Butler. I like using that phrase. I really like that phrase. The burning will of Kevin Butler lives on in the hearts of all of us.
That's very good. I
So
think you
far as
should
the PlayStation shines brightly, the world
yeah,
will stay lit.
keep going. No, keep going. I like it.
I know, right?
So yeah,
I mean,
that's Tales of PlayStation Past. That's Kevin Butler. That's why we keep bringing him up, and we're gonna keep bringing him up. Um, but one real quick thing before we kind of sign off because we're still going. But a Far Cry 5 came out yesterday.
mhm.
And MLB The Show and MX versus ATV are all coming out. I don't know about ML. I don't know when the show comes out or MX versus ATV. I think those are later this week.
Right.
But yeah, pretty good week for games. I know a lot of people are excited for Far Cry 5. I'm not one of them, but
Yeah, same here. That's just not my thing. But everybody else in the PSVG team seems like crazy excited for this game. It's like, fine, come on the PlayStation. Let's hear about it. And it's like,
yeah,
6 a.m. But
yeah. You know what
we'll
my thing
see.
about Far Cry 5 is that like Far Cry 5, like it looks exactly like Far Cry 3 and 4. It's like I
But
can
it's
only
in America.
Oh, I
Justin.
see. It's so much more cooler.
There's really religious zealots are totally not, deep rooted Christians. No, sir.
Yeah. Well, from what I've read, early reviews, that whole storyline is just bad, which would be the only interesting thing in the game for me. Otherwise, I don't know why you set a game. I mean, no offense, I'm from America. I'm an American, but the United States isn't that interesting compared to the rest of the world, as far as like landscapes and stuff like that. So
Well, it's because the rest of the world we think is exotic. Like I live 45 minutes away from Canada. In my head, it's like as soon as I cross Canada, it's going to turn into Wonderland because
yeah,
I have
and
no idea. I can only see the tree line from here, but I
j-
know beyond that tree line, there's going to be candy and all other good stuff.
just streets are lined with maple syrup, Tim Hortons on both sides of the roads,
Oh yeah.
nonstop.
Actually, I just learned recently that every rest area on a major highway in Canada, 9 times out of 10, has a Tim Hortons attached to it.
Yeah, well,
Apparently, that's
that's
the thing. I'm excited now.
don't get me started on Tim Hortons too much because I hate Tim Hortons.
You
And
like the person or the restaurant?
I think the person's probably okay. I don't care for the
Okay,
restaurant.
he's a real famous athlete, if I understand correctly. Nothing to hate about him. He just likes drinking coffee, and people decided, he just wanted to share to the world that he could drink coffee with them and maybe some donuts. And lately, he also apparently likes ice cream. So there's Cold Stone making a deal to work with him a lot too. Don't
Yes,
hate on the ice cream or the coffee or the
I like the
donuts.
ice cream. I like the ice cream. I like when you make them sing, but the coffee, yeah, not so great. But um,
It's
anyways,
it's one of
yeah,
the few
whatever.
places that you can say I want a ice cap mochaccino cappuccino caramel supreme with whipped cream on the top and not sound like a freaking idiot. Besides Starbucks,
Yeah, I still well, you gotta do it in an accent though if you go to Tim Hortons. Like I've gone in there and they always
like what, Northern Seattle?
well no, when you go in there you say I want to I want a caramel latte and they go no you gotta order it differently and you go hey I'd like a caramel latte. Is that a Canadian accent?
That sounds right. I don't know. I'm not
All
Canadian.
right, we
That
should probably
mystical
stop.
land and their people are 45 minutes away from me. I can't do
Yeah,
this.
we should probably stop before we offend too many Canadians.
Nah, they're good sports too, typically. So
Yeah, and we're both from Michigan. We're allowed to we're a stone's throw away from them, and we got the Yoopers who sound just like them, so we're allowed to jest.
we're less likely to be persecuted for it. Yes.
Yeah. So all right, that is this week of PSXP, the PlayStation Experience podcast. You can find me. I'm on Twitter. I just changed my Twitter handle again because I'm an idiot. But I'm at Justin Pickard now. I just figured someday I'll become famous and I'll be happy that I just have that at Justin Pickard. So
Okay, fair enough.
where can we find you?
I am, as we said at the very beginning, I am at 2 times Tyler. All letters, no spaces. Very simple enough. You can check out my work at, Justin's as well, playsomevideogames.com and all that stuff. You guys know the drill, but if you want to check out more of our work, playsomevideogames.com. And you can find everything from there. And hopefully I get to play more Sea of Thieves. I'm a little excited for that. But that's Xbox, and that's terrible. Ugh.
Oh yeah,
Ugh,
okay.
dirt in the mouth. Actually, I don't own an Xbox. I'm playing on the PC, but if I want to get other people to play, it has to be done through Xbox because, God forbid, anybody touches a PC in this day and age.
Yeah, well, I have one, but maybe we'll get together sometime.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that'd be nice. All right. Why don't you know what? Seth always does the outro. I always forget what he says, or maybe he's been changing it a little bit. Well, but why don't you give me an outro?
Okay. Never stop gaming, all that crap. We're going to sign off here. And don't forget, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.